lighting a candle and playing Solitaire. If this combination of sounds and visuals help you, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video and leave a little or long comment for me. You have no idea how much that helps me. Also, because of my lovely Patreons, I was able to get this new microphone. This sounds so much better than my previous one. It's not even comparable. So I hope you enjoy these sounds. My Patreon is at Whittler ASMR, and there you can find extra videos. I just uploaded a sleep meditation for my tier 3 patrons. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful for all of your support. Right now, if you've done all of that and you're ready, I suggest that you lay back, relax, maybe close your eyes, and just listen to my voice. Alright, before starting the stories, I wanted to tell you guys that this mic allows me to do mic brushing. So if you enjoy this sound, let me know. And maybe I will do videos in which I'm just reading and mic brushing. Let me know. But in tonight's video, we are going to do the usual. And the first story that I have here is from subreddit Paranormal. This one was posted yesterday and it is titled Paranormal Attack. Advice please on this. Okay, I will tell you what I think after I read the experience. It says, I didn't know where else to mention this or ask. I even had to make a random Reddit account to post this as I genuinely feel insane explaining what I've just witnessed. It's 8:32 p.m. I'm sat on the couch downstairs with my grandma. Suddenly a black figure or shadow charges towards my face from the kitchen at the right side of me and vanishes. I was over and done with in about 1 second. I guess they meant it was over and done with in about 1 second. And I started staring at where it came from, in shock of what I just saw, maybe thinking it was the light. As I'm sat there, realizing it was kinda like a bird, my grandma says, "What the was that?" It looked like a pointy bird. She saw the exact same thing I saw. We both describe it as a large black crow, and after it charged at me, both of our eyes were hurting. About 3 minutes after that experience, a large shadow came up behind us, and I stared up at it, and it was moving on the ceiling, and nothing could have possibly made that shadow. My grandma screamed in fear and hid herself into me, and my cat, who was sat on top of the whiskey cabinet, sat up and stared at wherever it went to. I can't even describe how it looked besides a large shadow that was behind and on the ceiling, and it was like bumpy, moving in waves or up and down. And this makes this story sound genuine. There isn't much commas or periods or anything that helps me reading this story, but it does sound genuine, doesn't it? And this poor grandma. It continues that after this, we were absolutely terrified, and then the lamp started to flicker 3 times, and since that, it left us alone. Growing up, I've seen and heard things, but nothing like this. I've heard footsteps on stairs, and I've experienced a lot of things in different houses that I've lived, but nothing like this. It felt aggressive, like it wanted to scare us, and I've never felt this scared over something before. And I do have odd who hate me. What is odd? ODD, who hate me. And my grandmother who mess with rituals called ghost-related things that we have separated from them as they were trying to mess with my grandmother. And then I guess they have some people around them, or maybe they mean family members that are into these cults and rituals, but they have separated from them as they were trying to mess with my grandma. Could this be something they've done? We really just need advice on what just happened to us. Again, as I've said time and times before in these videos, I absolutely believe in demons, and I do believe that all they want to do is distract us from truth and from our life, and they feed off of that. They feed off of our fear, our distraction, and our time. That is what they eat. They eat our time. So, as I enjoy reading these stories, and I hope that they always continue telling us, I suggest that after writing this story and posting it, forget about it, There's no need to follow up. There's no need trying to communicate with them, as it will make them stronger. So yeah, if you think that there are people around you who are into these sorts of things, these sorts of rituals, cults, all this new age stuff, just stay away from them. Because it's most important to keep yourself safe, keep your mind intact, than to, keep these people close to you. And I hope that ever since this happened, and I hope that this was the last time that this thing happened to you, and I hope that that your grandmother isn't scared in her home and that she always has you by her side. Alright, I think that's it for this story. It is time to get into the next one. This next story is from the same subreddit, Paranormal, and titled Voice While Giving Birth. Already sounds horrifying, because giving birth is already scary. I don't want to be hearing voices. It says, just interested in what people think about this. Oh, don't worry, I will tell you what I think. They say I gave birth to my daughter, and after the birth I had a very intense feeling that there was something wrong, but the doctor said she looked perfect and all her vitals looked good, and she even got a high APGAR score. I don't know what that means. Do you? The doctor left me with the baby and some time passed. I'm not sure how much because time seems to be altered after birth. Exactly, so maybe the feelings are just the hormones kicking in trying to survive and keep your baby safe. They continue, but I got that feeling again that something was wrong, even though she looked fine. I was about to call the nurse, but then I started talking myself out of it, thinking, you're being ridiculous, don't bother the nurses and so on. Wait a second, I'm listening to my own recording as it's getting recorded, and there was an airplane that just passed, and I'm pretty sure I didn't hear it. Did you guys? This is pretty awesome. I've had to cut recording every time an airplane passes. Anyway, they say they, convince themselves that it's fine. Don't call the nurse, you're being ridiculous. Then I heard a voice, and it wasn't mine. And I heard it in an urgent voice. Call now. I immediately called the nurse. The nurse took her sweet time and seemed annoyed when she came in. That's so mean. She took the baby's oxygen and looked at me with horror. Wait a second, what did the baby had oxygen? Oh, it means she took the oxygen level in the blood of the baby. You can do it, I think, by simple thingy they put on the fingers, maybe, I don't know. And then the nurse looked at me with horror. I'm sorry, I have to take her now. And she ran with the baby in the cart to the NICU section. Turns out the baby had a collapsed lung, which is relatively common in premature babies, but very rare for a full-term baby like mine. She had been slowly suffocating in my arms. The head nurse came in and said we were so lucky the nurse got it when she did, because we almost lost the baby. Well, the nurse didn't catch it, the mother did, or her instincts rather. And she ends the story with, do you think this was just maternal instinct or something paranormal? Well, what is paranormal? I mean, if it's a feeling that God has given us to deal with this sort of situation, sometimes it leads us to the answer right there. But sometimes we ignore it. But this time she didn't. She heard a voice in her head saying, "Call now," feeling that something wrong was happening to her baby, and she trusted it, and that saved her baby. What I think is that, yeah, maybe it is, you could call it paranormal, but at the same time, I'd say maternal instinct. That is such an amazing story, isn't it? Have you guys ever had a story similar? The next story from same subreddit, Paranormal, is titled "Creepy Things My Kid Have Said." These aren't particularly scary, but they alerted my creepy senses. Feel free to share your own creepy things your kids have said. My 6-year-old and I were talking about different ways babies are born, like twins, premature, C-section, etc. And he said he was born between two. He has no idea that I was pregnant once before and once after him, and lost them both early. And it kinda creeped me out. I literally got chills as I was reading that. That is just ultra creepy. They continue. When he was around 1.5 and only just speaking, a song came on the radio with gunshots in the background. He said, "Bang bang, dead." We had never heard the song before, or any other song or TV show or video or anything about guns or gunshots. That is also very creepy. And it's 1.5. 1.5 is really tiny. Barely talking, and you hear this little boy say "bang bang, dead" at 1 year old. 1 years old. He also talks a lot about his other mom and all of her adventures. It could just be an imaginary friend type thing, but she comes up a lot. I wish I could remember what kids can. Interesting way to end that story. That is very creepy. If your child talks about their other mom, doesn't that mean that they listen to them just like they would the real mom? I think I should read some of the comments, because I'm sure we'll find some more creepy things that children have said. Someone said, on a drive in the country, my 3-year-old niece pointed excitedly at a pond. That's where we used to go skating. Also, at another time, she grumbled, "My other mommy was nicer." Well, that's not very creepy. Kids be saying a lot of meaningless stuff, but the original poster had some really creepy ones, like when the 6-year-old said, "I was born between two," and the mother had lost one before and after them. That is very creepy. Okay, is there any other interesting stories underneath this post? not really, not. Okay, there is a very long one. Should I read it? Let's see. My daughter was a preemie, born at 23 weeks, and almost passed away multiple times in the first 6 months. That's just awful. As she got older, she always said and did creepy things. And creepy things always seemed to happen when she was around. A more funny moment was when she was 3. It was summer, and we went to get in the car, and it was hot and humid. And she said it was hot and sticky, just like when she was in mommy's tummy. Ew. Oh no, I don't like that at all. How old? 3? Oh no. I don't know how I would react if a little child told me that. And I've been around 4 little children, my niece and nephews. They've never actually said anything creepy, I don't remember. Not anything to this extent, definitely. At 2 years old, I don't know. What else did they say? What would they? I don't even think that 2-year-olds have the capacity to think that they were inside their mom's stomach at one point, Or just the children that I've seen. Don't know. Didn't know. Okay, let's find the place in the story I lost my spot. Was in mommy's tummy. Okay. When she was 2, her dad passed away. And for 2 years after, I would always hear her in her room, alone, talking to someone, like she was having a full conversation. And when I would ask her who she was talking to, she always said, "Daddy is here. He wants to see all my toys." She somehow knew things about her dad that I know for a fact that she was never told. That's just heart-wrenching. She went to spend a weekend at my mom's house. And my mom said from the moment she got there till the moment she left, creepy stuff kept happening. Like her car windows went down on their own. Her and my daughter were sitting on the porch, and my mom's truck was parked in front of her house. Out of nowhere, all her windows went down at the exact same time. Her doorbell would ring multiple times throughout the night. Her fireplace is gas and has an on-off switch, and it kept randomly turning on by itself. And at one point, she was in the kitchen cooking, and she was standing in front of the stove, and above her was a large ceiling fan. My daughter yelled for Grandma, so my mom went to walk towards her to see what was wrong. And as soon as she did that, the whole fixture came crashing down. There have been many more moments like this, but if I wrote them all, I would have a whole novel. Maybe you should. These are truly creepy with the backstory of her being premature and almost dying as a young infant. This is just amazing, isn't it? She ends her story by saying, "I believe her near-death experiences and also being a child gave her the ability to see and attract things that is just terrifying. Alright, now let's move on to another subreddit. I'm done with paranormal for now. I think we should look at some glitches in the Matrix. Alright, let's start with this shorter one that is titled I don't know if this fits here, but I need to share it because it was so weird. First of all, sorry for my writing. My English isn't very good, so I used a translator to help me. Well, I hope I can read it. This happened to me a few days ago, and I can't get it out of my head because it was so strange. I was watching a movie and decided to go to the bathroom. I took the chance to splash some water on my face, and in the moment I looked at myself in the mirror and kind of saw myself outside my body. It all happened really fast, like 10-15 seconds. That is definitely not a short amount of time. 15 seconds. That's a lot. While I was looking at myself in the mirror, it was as if my face suddenly zoomed in and I was looking at myself from outside my body, watching myself in the mirror. I don't know if that makes sense, and when I was looking at myself, I didn't recognize me. It was so crazy. I didn't know who I was. I was just staring at a stranger. Then I snapped out of this trance, feeling really weird. I remember exactly how it felt and what I experienced, and I can't stop thinking about it. Nothing like this has ever happened to me before. I just had to share it and ask, has anything like this ever happened to you? Well, I think I understand what they're saying. Maybe what they mean is that as they were looking in the mirror, it was like they were outside their body, like they were the one in the mirror and looking at themselves, or maybe for like 10-15 seconds they were looking at this stranger in the mirror that was themselves. I don't know, but what I know is that when you stare in the mirror for a bit too long, you start seeing things, especially in the dark. But in their case, I don't think they've been staring at themselves for a long while. They said they were watching a movie, so I assume they just went and did their thing quickly and was just washing their hands and splashing water. I'm just going to assume that they were not staring at themselves in the mirror for 5 minutes straight, and that's what caused it. And if it wasn't that, it wasn't a trick of their brain, what else could it be? My usual suspects. Demons. Yes. Again, she said, or he said, they're still thinking about it, and it really distracted them. I think that's enough to say, right? As I said, they like distracting us. You're looking at yourself, feeling like a stranger, but you're not. Nothing's weird is going on. You are you. And stop thinking about it. That's my answer. What made me read this story was the amount of likes it got. It is the top post of this week. So I don't know, I just found it interesting that a lot of people story was relatable or good enough, so I had to read it. Alright, this next one from Glitch in the Matrix subreddit is titled Bracelet is suddenly engraved with my name and a date. Hi all, not sure if this fits for this sub, but I just wanna get this out of my system and share. So I'm going to start by describing the bracelet, which I don't think I can add a picture of it in the sub, but I'm gonna try to describe it as best as I can. So the bracelet is a cuff bracelet, and it is silver, and it has the words she is and free at the very center of it. Why did they write it like that? That's a literal sentence. She is free. But they wrote it like these are 3 different words with no meaning. Anyway, I got this at a women's conference, and there were no other engravings on the inside of the band. What is a women's conference? Women gather around and talk. I believe I had lost this oh, it says she's free, so I assume this is, I don't know, I've never heard about it. Let me know if you know what a women's conference is. Something with feminism. I believed I had lost this bracelet in about February of this year. I had gotten the bracelet at this women's conference in late January. I found the bracelet recently in a car. I don't drive. This car is a car. What? I'm currently restoring. Oh, that was just a period out of place. This car is a car I'm currently restoring. I did not take it to the women's conference, but that's just crazy. That's crazy enough, right? You lose something a while back, and then you get a new car, and all of a sudden you find your lost object in there. That is absolutely nuts. So let's see. They also say that when I got the bracelet back and had my nickname on one side of the band and opposite of that, it had a date, February 17, with no year engraved on it. That date is not particularly significant to me, but it is a date I have always liked because I like number 17, and I have always felt a strong connection to February. Again, not really sure, just needed to talk about. Wait a second, I'm going to reread that. When I got the bracelet back and I had my nickname on one side. Okay, so they're saying this bracelet at first suddenly engraved with my name. Bracelet is suddenly engraved with my name and a date. So when they lost the bracelet, it was engraved with the words "She's free." But when they found it in a strange car, or a stranger's car, basically a new car, it had February 17 and their nickname. I would like it better if they said what that nickname is. If it's something like Jenny, I actually cannot think of any other English nickname. But if it's something like Jenny, or I don't know, Maddie, Meg, I don't know, or something like that. It is pretty common, right? So, again, as always, the most basic answer is usually the right one. Not basic, the easiest. And you tell me, what do you think? It's obviously another bracelet. Someone got a bracelet and got it engraved with a date that actually meant something to them, with their name. But now you're saying that it has your nickname and February 17, and you also acknowledge the fact that February 17 doesn't have any significance to you. But you're saying that you like February and 17. Come on, you found someone else's bracelet. That's the easiest solution. I get it though. I get it that it is a wild coincidence that it looks like the exact same bracelet that you've had. But just wait for it. What if that woman with the same nickname as yours went to a women's conference, whatever that means, and got one of those bracelets and got that engraved? So that's less odd than it being yours and having some random new engraving on it, right? Anyway, alright you guys, I think that is enough stories for tonight, and I hope that this far into the video you have already fallen asleep. And if you are, I hope that you are very lucid and in charge of what you see, because it is your mind, and whatever you see is of peace and restfulness and happiness and joy, and nothing of the weird and creepy things that might exist around us. And if you're not asleep, I suggest that you check out my Patreon. Again, thank you guys. You guys have literally changed my life. And I'm so glad and so grateful to be able to continue to make these videos. And right now, with this new mic, let me know what you think about it. I'm just getting the hang of it. I could turn it down. Should I hold the microphone further away? Should I hold it closer? Whatever. Let me know. Give me feedback if you're awake. And I will see you